Another big story back here at home. Fellow Supreme Court justices are remembering Antonin Scalia and speaking out about the kind of man he was. Of course, he passed away on Saturday at the age of 79. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, one of his lifelong friends. And she said, although they disagreed quite frequently, they were, quote, best buddies. Chief Justice John Roberts also said, quote, he was an extraordinary individual and jurist admired and treasured by his colleagues. Utah's Governor Gary Herbert even ordering flags to be lowered today to half-staff in honor of Justice Scalia.
And we want to bring in Utah attorney and legal expert Greg Skordas now to talk about how does this affect the current cases that are before the Supreme Court. We've got some big items, you know, abortion, labor unions, all different things. What are your thoughts this morning?
Public employees and fees and things.
I mean, it goes on and on.
Well, it's difficult, Lori, because we've sort of had a 5-4 court for years and years and years. Now we have a 4-4 court, and of course a tie doesn't really mean much. What it means essentially is that whatever happened in the lower court, the circuit court stands as the law. So we'd hope that this 8-member panel will somehow come to decisions on some of these issues rather than have a split where we really don't get any precedence at all.
What are your thoughts on the short list to replace him and the political fallout that's to come in the remainder of 2016? The Republicans say don't nominate anybody. The president says he will. Will it be confirmed in the Senate?
Well, and you saw, Andrew, from the South Carolina debate with the Republicans, every single one of them said, we're not going to allow President Obama to nominate another justice. That means for 10 months, probably a year, maybe even 18 months, we'll have that 8-member panel. I think it's going to be a huge topic in the election coming up, both for Democrats and Republicans, because we'll be able to talk about, you know, how the future of the country is going to look going forward with the change in the Supreme Court. But you'd hope that President Obama would at least be able to make his nomination and let the Senate make that decision sometime in the next year so that we're not stuck with this even-membered Supreme Court, which could theoretically not be able to make decisions because of no majority.
Well, not only that, but the backlog. I mean, because if we're talking until the next president would take office, I mean, that is a full year, and then that president would have to nominate someone and then have to go through the confirmation hearings, perhaps even a year and a half.
Right, and nominate, getting their own cabinet together and getting their own, sort of getting themselves in the door, you know, appointing a Supreme Court justice, Lori, is probably not going to be the highest thing on their agenda. So you're right. We could be a long ways out. You'd hope, although it seems unlikely, that we can get a new justice in there in the next year. But the Republicans seem very, very determined to make sure that doesn't occur.
I'd encourage you